got Alex.
Well, we're fucking live now.
Okay.
Too late now.
Welcome everyone to a special Tuesday night edition of Next Big Pod. I'm joined by Alex Morris, Paul Webb, Sam Carpenter. Andy, you there? Thought Andy was there. He might be muted.
No, I'm here.
Andy Pops is here as well, and we should have Brian on at some stage shortly. We're obviously discussing huge breaking news from today, which has sort of, turned the boxing world on its head a little bit. Martin Murray signing with MGM. Alex, what do you think, mate? Alex,
Well, as you can tell, I'm just speechless. I really did not expect this news. It's a great signing for MGM, and it's a great signing by Martin Murray. I think that we know that the future lies with MGM. The future's bright, certainly as bright as the sun at the MGM beach. I think that it's just
it's a conveyor belt of champions, isn't it? Really?
Well, absolutely. Hopefully, we can see more world title shots for Martin Murray, because we all know that he hasn't had enough yet.
It's been overlooked many times. Sad. But one person who's not been overlooked is Amir Khan in the Canelo sweepstakes. So I will go to Sam with this one. Here you go, Sam. What do you think? Do we know about the catch weight yet? Was the 155 thing, is that confirmed?
Well, Khan said when he tweeted it, didn't he, that it's a 155 title, whatever that is.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if that was a joke or not. Genuinely, that might have been a joke. I'm not sure.
No, it is definitely 155.
Yeah.
Just can't tweeting like a spaz.
I would have thought it would have been a bit higher, because I know apparently one of the things for the Cotto Canelo negotiations was Canelo wanted 156 and Cotto wanted lower. So if Khan's managed to sort of chip him down a little bit, might help him. But how do we see the fight going? Paul, how do you see it going, mate? And are you pleased for Amir to finally be getting his big payday? Someone's opening the microwave? I'm not sure. Oh, it's Brian. Brian's logged on, everyone. Cheers, Brian.
What's happening?
Nothing, mate. You're not interrupting at all. Just carry on.
I'm just listening to you rabble on. I was going to jump in shortly.
Oh, cheers, mate. That's very kind of you. Paul, Brian's muted now. Paul, what do you think of the fight? Are you pleased for Amir, and how do you see it going?
I'm chuffed that he's taken it. Obviously, the opportunity's come up for him. It's a flipping difficult fight. I mean, I can't try and work out what he'd need to do to win. I suppose getting on his bike and boxing and circling Canelo where possible. But Canelo's not exactly a slouch, and he's got a nice shot selection. I think it's a very, very tough ask for him. But, we moan and complain that boxers don't take risks, and boxers, don't go for these kind of opportunities, and it's very rare we see a fighter jump up in weight like this. Obviously, the 155-pound nonsense bullshit aside, which it is nonsense, there's middleweight is middleweight, junior middleweight is junior middleweight, or super welter, whatever they're calling it this week. There's no need to fight in between. I think it should be made at 160, and then it should be up to Khan as to what weight he comes in. I think on the night, Canelo he won't be 30 pounds heavier like some of these morons are saying. I think he will be a good 15, 16 pounds heavier than Khan. I think Khan doesn't have much of a chance. The bookies see it closer than I thought they would. But it's right out of left field. And considering we were waiting for Canelo versus, a tune-up fight, a potentially very weak opponent in May, we end up getting a really quite interesting fight, certainly for Brits. I think Canelo will probably come under some heavy criticism from Americans because, he's fighting a guy so much smaller than him and who's really unproven anything above 140 pounds. Realistically, at welterweight, Khan hasn't really cemented himself, hasn't got a real sort of marquee name on his record. But, yeah, you got to like it. It's interesting, and it's completely out of left field. I don't know anyone who could honestly say that they thought that this fight was going to happen, even though Eddie Hearn knew at the weekend. But, in the build-up to it, there was no rumours, no speculation. It's nice to get a bit of a surprise now and again.
One
sec, mate. I'll bring you in a sec. But I was just going to say, throw it open to the floor. Does the 155 thing? Who does that help? I don't see why, like you said, I don't see why Canelo wouldn't have put it at the full 160 unless it's to keep the excuse when he actually fights a middleweight going. When he fights Golovkin to keep the excuse going. But I can't see how. I mean, it doesn't make any difference to Khan, does it? He's not going to weigh in at the limit. Open to anyone.
Well, Khan come in at 163 pun the night of Alexander, so he's not small when he trains properly.
Yeah, Khan's got a big frame on him as well, and he's not a small guy. He's not a midget. I remember when he was coming up, like when he was at 135, there was always talk of him filling up to be a light middle, and
yeah, he was huge at lightweight, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But
get out Khan's ass for fuck's sake.
And he looked in good condition against Alexander, didn't he? And then he looked shit against Algieri, so the layoff might have done him well. He might have been cycling again. Who knows?
Yeah. He's on steroids. What about Canelo? What about his roid cycle? Will this affect it?
I'm not sure. Who knows? We'll
He'll be on the diuretics, won't he? He'll be on the other end of the spectrum. So Alex, oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, are we discounting the fact that maybe Khan negotiated that?
That's what I think. I think he would have tried to haggle the weight down a bit. Canelo probably wouldn't have minded it one or two.
No, I don't think so.
No, you don't think so, Brian?
If Canelo was going to fight Golovkin in September, he should as well when he fucking fight Khan, a welterweight at 155 pun. I think this is basically him, the beginning and the end. I think he's going to dump the belt after this Khan fight. Well, what's the point of fucking fighting Khan, then to fight Golovkin after that? The big ginger strike bag.
Perfect preparation. Stylistically, they're identical. Mexican style, Pakistan style, right?
Khan's a Jew.
I do agree with you. I think it's possibly a sign that the Golovkin fight's not happening anytime soon. Definitely not this year, which is a shame. But on that note, what about if Khan does the unthinkable and wins?
Fucking banter.
If Khan won, I actually reckon he might fight Golovkin.
Nah, Mayweather would come back.
Mayweather
would come back 100%.
Yeah, Floyd will come back.
We all said
Am I right? TNT.
Can you imagine that though? Floyd comes back and he wins the lineal middleweight title. There'd be no shutting Brian up.
Off Khan.
CMT nut huggers out.
I'm going to New York at that time as well. I'll be just like, fuck New York. I'll be going back to the home of the fucking champions.
But the fight
TNT.
You're done with boxing.
I'm done with boxing, but I support my team. Me, Badu Jack, and Floyd. Boom!
And Jay Leon.
Fuck him. He's a bum.
You say Smith?
And his Sugar. But we know the fight. If Khan Floyd would be in Dubai, definitely, 100%, or it would be in the Reebok Stadium. There's no way it would be in Vegas. Might be in Anfield if Gallagher could get the undercard together.
Sorry, no, I've just got a report from Jeff Powell saying it's in Wembley.
I was going to say that. I was like, see if Khan fights Floyd. Does that mean that Brook will fight Pacquiao on undercard?
Well, I actually tweeted Khan earlier and said, any chance we get Brook versus the winner of Eggington and Skeet on the undercard? No.
I really do think that.
I assume they're working on it.
Shit, why don't you tweet Khan's dad and ask him to come on the show? His proper dad, the real one. The one that keeps fucking tweeting to get Floyd and Pacquiao on undercard.
Michael Reed.
Oh, Brook's dad, you mean?
Aye.
Oh, right. I was going to say, apparently, speaking of Khan's dad, the reports I'm hearing at the moment, and again, it's all sort of rumour in terms of this fight because no one was expecting it.
He could kick a field goal through his fucking mouth because he's got a big gap.
Yeah, he looks a bit like that. Oh, who's that actor with the? Yeah, I know Paul Scheer. He looks a bit like Paul Scheer, but yeah. Apparently, he was him and Khan were directly involved in the negotiations with Oscar, and Heyman wasn't directly involved, basically. And people are now saying, does this mean Golden Boy's working with Heyman? And people have come straight out to say, well, no, because apparently they weren't directly involved, and it was Khan and his dad sort of off their own back, leading the negotiations. But I don't know what everyone makes of that. I don't know if it's true for a start. I know his dad's fairly unreliable, isn't he, in negotiations? I remember all that mad stuff with McCloskey back in the day, and Maidana with the rematch, and rumours that his dad had like broken into offices and stolen documents.
We were talking about this in the WhatsApp chat the other day about how tight these Heyman contracts are. So he must have had something to do with it.
Well, apparently he sort of gave. Again, it's all rumours, but apparently he like gave his approval, but he wasn't formally involved in any stage of the negotiations.
Well, like I said this before we went on air to Alex, if Khan wins, then Heyman's got the lineal middleweight championship, and if Khan loses, then Khan loses. It's no skin off his back, really, is it? He's not one of his biggest stars. So either way, it doesn't make no difference to him. He either Khan wins and he brings the title back to the PBC, if he's still with Heyman, or he loses and he loses. No one cares.
Right. I think we'll see quite a lot of Heyman, sort of the middle tier Heyman fighters, start to leave or start to be released from contracts, because obviously I think they're not that they're cutting back, but I just think that they've got their sort of core group of star fighters, your Deontay Wilders, Danny Garcias, etc., who rate really well, and then you've got your bottom feeders who are there just to basically plug out cards, be opponents. I think you're in between guys, and I think Khan certainly fits in that group. I don't think Heyman's really overly bothered about investing much in him anymore.
Paul, give me some names of who you mean by the in-betweeners. So you mean guys like Khan? You mean guys like Algieri? People sort of that?
No, but also there's been rumours for a while that Furman isn't happy and he's been looking to get out his deal as well. So could this be like the start of a mass exodus? It'll be interesting to see where it plays out.
I think it just depends on where you are. Like I said, if you're Deontay Wilder, you're very happy with the situation. If you're, like I said, Danny Garcia, at the moment you're very happy. I think there are certain fighters where the PBC in general, which is working well for them, and other fighters where it's just not. And like I said, your mid-tier guys, your Algieris of the world.
If you're a Julian Williams or a Jamel Charlo or something, and you're just thinking, the brother who hasn't got a belt, I forget which one it is. Is it Jamal who hasn't got a belt? But,
yeah.
The ones who have been they've been contender status for years, but have never actually had opportunity.
See, there's a lot of them. Louis Spence fits into that category as well. He's a guy who's been on the periphery for a while, but
Louis Spence.
Louis Spence.
Louis Spence, the dancer, the homo.
No, that's Louis Smith, Brian.
Oh, he's
no. Louis Smith. Louis Smith's the gymnast. Louis Spence is the Louis Spence's dance academy thing.
Oh, Louis Smith was on Strictly Come Dancing though.
Yeah. He was an Olympian, but then he's Strictly. But no, I don't know who you're talking about, Andy.
Louis Spence.
Do you mean Errol? Do you mean Errol?
Yes.
It's his Scottish accent. It's his Scottish accent, isn't it?
Errol.
Louis.
See, you know how fucking press passes telling us that there might be people, you'll see the lower echelons of Heyman's stable beginning to leave. And you know how press pass last year was kind of controversial and his politically racist views. Do you think he was watching Schindler's List or something like that and just says, fucking somebody's going to steal 100-a-day fighters and all that, and they're all just going to team away? We know what his fucking ideologies are like. We don't want this spreading onto here.
Ryan, you have to defend people's right to say things you don't agree with. It's the foundation of Scottish democracy.
You lost me at Schindler's List. I didn't understand half of that. You and Andy, I need an on-screen translator for you, Per.
Shut your fucking mouth.
Right.
You get used to Andy after a while.
Right. Can I say, Brian, sorry.
Fucking steak dinner.
Give me a sec, because we've got onto the PPC and we had that on our list of things to talk about. But very quickly, just to finish up on Khan Canelo, who's everyone? Right, I know it's only just been announced, but who's everyone picking?
What do you mean finish up on this? We're talking about this for the whole pod.
No, we've not even discussed that. We've just fucking done what we usually do and going to talk about other things.
Finishing up about the
That's pod shit.
Who's everyone picking?
Calm down, shit, man. It's not a power struggle with me and you. I'm on. You're running the show. I'm just here to fucking party. Calm down.
I just asked everyone a question. Fuck's sake, answer.
All right.
Fucking raging.
Everyone's picking. You've got to pick Canelo, haven't you? Being sensible.
Yeah.
Right.
Canelo by massive knockout. But
yeah.
If you pick anything else, it's out of hope or belief rather than facts and expectation. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people picking Khan because he has got a certain skill set that can trouble any fighter. But Canelo, he's quick, hits like a mule. I think his power's a bit underrated, especially in his right hand. But I think, Canelo stoppage, but we'll see.
I think it will look exactly like the Hotacito fight, except that he won't go down off body shots. He'll just get chinned like Kirkland did. Maybe 4 or 5 rounds. That's my prediction. Alex?
I reckon he'll go longer than that. I'll give him I reckon it'll be something late, maybe. I mean, it depends if you just
Late
think...
stoppage, really? You think... Okay.
Maybe. I mean, I haven't really thought about it, I suppose, but I think that what's going to end it for Carton isn't probably going to be an accumulation. It is probably just going to be that one shot, because it's always has been that one shot that's picked him off. But
I think my issue with it is that in order to get the decision, he won't just be able to box and move. Do you know what I mean? That won't get him the decision. So he'll actually have to engage, and if he engages, he's going to get chinned. There's really no way he can win, I don't think. Brian, who are you picking?
Remember that time fucking Press Pass says Fury was going to get wiped out in a couple of rounds? That was fucking banter, that, wasn't it?
You had Ricky Burns beating Figueroa.
Do you remember that time he scored the Sean Porter Kell Brook fight to Sean Porter?
And so did everybody, but they all fucking shot it and changed their score. But was that man in my word? I fucking stood there, and let all the fucking homo pillow biters fucking come at me, and I fucking took it.
Do you remember you paid a buck?
you just think that all gay people come at you and you took it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, what about it? That isn't. I gave it. I didn't receive it. That's technically not gay.
Oh dear.
Anyway,
Right.
I think Khan's going to get absolutely fucking destroyed. But then again, I thought maybe Cotto was going to get saved. I said on the Asylum that Canelo's the fucking biggest hype job in boxing. He's got a couple of good wins on it, and I can't take that away from him. But I still, he's not that good. It just isn't that good.
Yeah,
Okay.
me and you had Cotto winning. We had Cotto winning 7-5, didn't we?
What, in the Canelo fight?
Yeah.
Did have Cotto winning that?
Yeah, we had Cotto. We both had Cotto.
Yeah, you
winning
two can
7-5.
shut the fuck up then, can't you? So.
But I don't think Canelo's a hype job. I just don't think that. I mean, the middleweight division isn't exactly stacked, but I think the reason why there's a lot of push behind Canelo is because he's obviously a big star in Mexico. That's a given. But I think he's fought and he's been in with quite a few different styles. The Trout fight. Obviously, when he's when he's battering the likes of Kirkland, you don't really learn much. A defenseless fighter in James
Maybe
Kirkland.
we did that wrong then.
He's been in with quite a few. But he got absolutely scored and outboxed by Mayweather, and I think it'd be interesting to see if he can cope for a comeback from that.
Paul, that reminds me. Had saw a very funny tweet earlier saying, I can't remember who it was by. I'll look it up in a minute. But it was a guy saying that Khan is going to beat Canelo worse than Floyd did.
That's Derry Matthews. It seems.
Yeah, that was
Derry, wasn't it? Sorry.
Derry, yeah.
He spelt Floyd wrong as well.
So he would have to win. Yeah, he spelt Floyd. He put an E in Floyd somehow. I don't know where that.
Put an E.
Yeah.
You know what I think? I just basically think that anytime Canelo steps up, he maybe gets the victory. Apart from like my boy, he never ever looks convincing in fucking any of the fights. So maybe that's more to the point. He maybe does enough to win, but he never looks convincing in any of them. He struggled with Lara. He struggled with Trout. He fucking got whitewashed with Floyd.
When was the last time he looked convincing in a victory? Angulo, I guess, but that was Angulo.
But that's it. Like, Angulo was dead.
Well, Kirkland.
Yeah, Kirkland, because he wiped him out.
Kirkland was fucking shite.
Yeah.
And Kirkland did land a little bit at the beginning, and then it became clear that
Kirkland gets stopped half of fucking Shep's brother-in-law.
Well, he's doing military service, isn't he? So he must be able to handle himself.
Yeah. My brother-in-law is about the size of Amir Khan, and he'd probably it would be the same result if he had a fight with Canelo. Yeah.
Fucking ragdoll him.
You actually all starting to sway towards Khan then, because all this argument about Canelo struggling with boxers and struggling in a lot of his fights that aren't against, absolute fucking roasters. Because let's be fair, the guys that he has smashed are all pretty much roasters. Your Angulos, your Kirklands. I picked the likes of Angulo and Kirkland to really give him a good go, but what happened in those fights is that Canelo was just simply bigger and harder than them. He's not, not necessarily a better boxer.
No, but he got both of them at the right time. Those guys were both well past their best when he fought them.
But But can he box for 12 fucking rounds? And he's not going to be able to clinch Canelo because he's too small. So at some point he's going to get stopped.
And if he boxes 12 rounds, he won't get the decision. He will not get the decision. There's no chance. Like, do you remember that card against Trout, was it, where they had Canelo they gave Canelo every round? Do you remember that? There was one card that was like 120, 108. And the card against Lara, where they give Lara 2 rounds. That's what it's going to look like if Khan boxes. There's no way. He'll have to knock Canelo down to win it on the card. No chance.
Do you know what? I hate to agree with anything that Brian says, but Brian's point about Khan not being able to box for 12 rounds is pretty spot on. I don't think it's a physical fitness thing, but he doesn't seem to be capable of boxing to a plan for 36 minutes. At some point, the fight, it always goes awry, and we saw that even in fights he's dominated the early parts of. He's just found ways to give away rounds or found ways to put himself under pressure. Did it against Madano, did it against Peterson. Even if he boxes really well and gets off to a quick start, conceivably he could be ahead after 3 or 4 rounds. I just can't see him carrying that on for the rest of the fight.
Who's going to be more upset by the news of the fight today? Golovkin, Gabe Rosado, who was supposed to get the Canelo fight, or Eddie Hearn? Which one?
I basically think there's like a human centipede, a Froch, Hearn and Hearn's Dar, and maybe Brooke right at the rear end, fucking pile driving Andy. So it's a big fucking human centipede of pricks.
Well, where does Femi fit into this?
Ah, fuck him. He's fucking sitting in the toilet at fucking train spot and jagging his arms, a big dirty clown.
Well,
I'll be off to see the future champ in April.
Yeah, exactly. Femi's probably sending Paul a thank you text because Paul's booked his hotel without an opponent being announced, haven't you, Paul?
Yeah.
What a fucking
casual thing you can ever do in boxing.
Do you know why? It's because obviously I'm going to Quigframpton, but I've tried to convince the missus that it's actually a decent fight, but she just doesn't care about it. So I think she might not be going. So I have to take her to see Femi because every girl likes Femi, don't they?
She doesn't think that Quigframpton's going to be a good fight, but she
doesn't.
Thinks Femi against.
It's not that good.
Yeah, Femi against anybody. Honestly, she watched the promo for Quigframpton and just said, "I don't like either of them." And it's very difficult when you try and talk to someone who doesn't know anything about boxing. If they don't like what they see, then that's the end. Whereas she can watch a highlight video of Anthony Joshua KO in Brazilian Spastic, and then she'll be all over it.
Yeah, but is she aware that me, Cal, and Pops are going? Does she know?
I think that's the main reason. I think that's the main reason why she doesn't want to go, because she's scared of meeting. Well, I think she's scared of meeting Andy from the asylum, and meeting Cal and all his 13-year-old glory.
I'm gonna tap that ass.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
Right, so we've touched on a few other topics which we'll get to eventually, but I don't know if anyone else has got any immediate thoughts on Khan Canelo. I mean, it's hard to sort of break it down at the moment, but.
Well, it'll be the same as a Cotto fight. Cam won't be able to put a dent in him, he'll get walked down, and I think Khan will get stopped, whereas Cotto didn't.
Yeah, because Cotto ran like he always does when he fights someone better than him.
Cotto 175. So.
I can't believe you had him winning. That's an awful scorecard.
What you on about? You says that fucking Rios going to get knocked out with Bradley.
Yeah, and you said Ricky Burns beat Figueroa, mate. You cannot.
And he did.
You cannot.
He did beat him. He did beat him.
Right, so we've talked about Brooke being gay. We've talked about Ricky Burns. When we talked about Pete,
Alex, that was the next thing. What is Eddie doing right now? Eddie's in our WhatsApp group, but he's not answering our messages. So I don't know how he's taken the news.
He's probably sitting with that wee Frank Smith now doing a 69, isn't he?
yeah, he probably is doing that, mate. Yeah.
Oh, fucking polish me off, and I was going to slag our people there, but I don't worry because they're all right. And
Will Hearn now, because he said he was having there's a fight being announced tomorrow. Will he delay the Matchroom news to try and until the casuals are calmed down? Because he could, tomorrow could have been an announcement of, I don't know, Crawler versus Katsidis on pay-per-view. They'll try and make that, but now Anthony Crawler versus Michael Katsidis is going to get. It's going to be in the shadow of Khan Canelo, so he might have to delay his press conference.
So I am higher than the last days at Amy Winehouse right now because of this fucking news. Eddie Hearn, you are a fucking cunt. Buzzing.
Right. What's the most exciting part of this? The fact that it's a Brit guy headlining in Vegas, which is always exciting, even if you don't like the British guy in question. Is it the fact that Khan could get completely sparked, or is it the fact that Hearn has been mugged off?
It's the fact that Hearn's been mugged off, and it why we're all excited.
Man, I personally think it's a fucking terrible fight. It's ridiculous. It's ballsy for Khan, but it's absolutely fucking embarrassing that a welterweight's getting to fight for the lineal belt at middleweight. Canelo's fucking makes these resumes built up of fighting midgets. They be fucking rat. And I know they're always going to throw back in your face. Lara and Trout. Fair enough, but you've nearly had 50 fights, you big fucking ginger cunt. And now you're fighting like a welterweight. Surely it could have got somebody better. Don't get me wrong, Khan would have beat Gabe Rosado. He fucking would have, man. Gabe Rosado is the tanned version of fucking what?
Khan would beat Rosado, I agree with that. At 154, I think he'd probably beat him. Yeah. But Rosado, 9 losses in a row or something ridiculous?
He's middleweight version of fucking Deacon.
Yeah, basically. But he was good in Rocky, though. He's actually not a bad actor.
I mean, see when you think it, Andrade is in the HBO side. Why didn't he get offered it? He would have took it.
He would have won. He would have beaten Canelo easily.
Yeah, I know.
That's why no one ever wants to fight him. Oh, that reminds me. Liam Smith's got an announcement later this week. He said,
"Fuck him."
So I presume he'll be next in line for the winner of Khan Canelo.
He better fucking come out and say that my brother's a fat bastard.
What, hold a press conference for that?
my brother wears a bra.
That reminds me, Brian. I obviously I'm blocked on I think all 3 of my boxing accounts, but I went on a completely separate work account on Twitter to look at Paul Smith's profile, and I found a tweet where a guy, some Scouse bum sniff, had asked him when he was back, and he replied, "I'll have a couple of 6 to 8 rounders before the summer, and then it's back to title level." And someone said, "Do you mean the British title?" And he went, "No, been there, done that." So Paul Smith genuinely thinks he can have a 6-rounder and then get another world title shot. It's absolutely disgraceful. Could you see him fighting Callum if Callum, picks a belt up in the next year?
Yeah, at Anfield.
Would they fight each other? Have the Smiths ever said like the Klitschko's that they'd never fight each other? I don't know.
If you put Callum Smith in between Paul Smith and a KFC bucket, there's going to be a fight. So.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Why Callum's so skinny?
They're announcing that fight, super middleweight at Anfield with fucking special guest referee Joe Gallagher. Him just trying to
draw. Jackson Park tweets that he doesn't know who the winner is. Who gets the belt, lads?
Paul Smith, man, what a fucking penis. See when you just think it, he is meant to be an actual athlete. That's what a boxer's meant to be, a professional athlete, and all he is a big fucking sausage with a belt. I mean, he can turn around and say, but Brian, you're a fat cunt. I'm not a fat cunt, but I'm a postman. I deliver mail. I don't need to fight some cunt for a living. You are just a big fucking blob. And then you go and fight Andre Ward, one of the best fighters of your generation. And what do? You can't even make weight. What do? I don't need to drink about fucking 40 litres of water and say, I'm dehydrated. No, you're just a fat fucker. You probably went and had a doner kebab. Fat cunt. Fat.
Anyone else want to add anything?
How did we get on to Paul Smith?
Because we talked about Liam Smith, didn't we? And then we talked about Paul Smith. It follows logically. If you're talking about Canelo fighting in Vegas, you go on to Paul Smith after that. One follows the other. But yeah.
Oh shit! Mike Liam Smith says he wanted to fight Canelo. I fucking laughed at that. I totally forgot about that. What a fucking joke.
They'll say that Canelo's ducking him now. They'll say Canelo took the easier fight against Khan.
If Khan wins, I'm fighting my fucking gym owner.
Let's say Khan wins, right? 1 in a million shot, I know, but let's say Khan wins. Who do you reckon he'd fight next?
Floyd.
Fucking no.
Yeah.
Do you think Floyd would? Yeah. What about Manny? Would Manny go up to 155? He's been up to 152 before.
He went up to 150. Don't fucking geese it.
What? Didn't he only weigh in at like 144 or something against Margarito? Or something ridiculous.
It doesn't matter. He made fucking Margarito fight at 150, and I hate Margarito.
No, it's 152, wasn't it, Brian?
No, 150.
Well, either way, it was an 8-division title, which is one more than Floyd's ever got. So,
But Floyd's fucking live, they weigh in what they want.
Because Floyd weighs in at what he wants as well.
did you remember when he weighed in about 6 pounds heavier than Marquez? That was fair.
I was shocking that, but Marquez got to be $500,000 and that can buy a lot of fucking tacos.
You were going to say something else, Ben. I didn't know where you were going to go. I thought you were either going to make a joke about children, a joke about drugs, or a joke about PEDs, and then you went with tacos.
Fuck's sake.
I was going to say paella, but that was Spanish, wasn't it? That just made it look me even more stupid.
We don't want
Back to Brooke. Back to Brooke. Brooke gets stabbed off a fucking drug dealer.
Who does Brooke fight next then? 'Cause-
Allegedly.
So the Khan fight is off the table now for the summer. Who does Brooke fight next? Paul, who do you think? Or who would you like to see him fight next, actually, is a better question. So assume he knocks Bizier out in when's that, in March? And he wants to, I presume Brooke will want to be active and fight again maybe July. And it won't be...
I wouldn't be surprised if the fat cunt fights Liam Smith.
What, at 154?
Aye.
What, and vacates the belt?
That gives him an excuse not to fight Spence.
Yeah, but the Spence mandatory wouldn't be due until the end of the year. So
I know, but it gives him an opportunity.
He could have a voluntary in the summer, and I don't know if maybe Eddie would finally say, okay, time to let him travel.
To who though? He's not going to get Garcia to that unless Heyman takes Brooke.
The winner of Thurman Porter later in the year?
But again, that just basically means that Heyman needs options. He needs to take Brooke then.
The loser of Thurman Porter. There you go. More like it.
Would they not send him over to America for the Bradley fight?
What, assuming he beats Pacquiao?
Win or lose.
But that, again, that consists of why would Adam do that fight unless he's get options on Brooke?
Do you know what I could see?
True.
And this is obviously a bit up in the sky at the moment. Someone like Alvarado, because he's making his comeback now at 147, and he's still got a bit of a name. If he doesn't look completely shot, I could see Hearn getting him over and making out that it's a really dangerous fight.
Well, saying that, they would maybe even embarrass themselves by making the Rios fight.
Rios, have you heard about Rios? He's left Robert Garcia.
Hi.
Yeah.
And who's there waiting?
Training with his dad. Actually.
What?
He's training with his dad.
And who's his dad? Apart from the guy that came up his mum, I know that.
I was going to say something very similar. You said it better than I ever could. Yeah.
Is his dad a trainer?
I think his dad used to box. I don't know professional or amateur. His dad's Mexican. I know he used to box, but I don't know if we need to get Ellie Sek back on or something. He can explain about the Rios family. But,
he's a dumb bastard, him. I mean, if I woke up in the morning it was Ellie Sekpak had been killed in a drive-by, I'd be fucking. I'd post a picture of my dick on Twitter.
Make a change.
He was doing that on Christmas Eve.
Yes, I know. It was a good day.
You did that to Zatikanen and made him fuck up the purse bids for his...
It's like kind of was fucking livid.
He was actually quite angry.
Rios was disgusted with Tom.
What did Lucas Brown? Lucas Brown just shrugged it off, didn't he? Nothing phases that guy.
Shannon the Cannon and Lucas Briggs, they absolutely love it.
Lucas Briggs?
Lucas Brown.
Oh, because Lucas hasn't got any pals, man. He must have been his only pals. I'm staying in this DM chat. I'm never leaving.
He loved it. He stayed in there for weeks.
He's still in there now, if you look.
On his own, just scrolling back through the messages.
Him and DJ Sai.
Sai's not happy about this fight either. He's said it doesn't bode well for Canelo Golovkin in the future.
No, I don't think it happens. I definitely don't think it happens now.
I'm not sure about vacating the belt though. I'm sure he could weasel around it for a while and keep the belt.
No, I think if offering that's a man his word, and that fight doesn't get made for the likes of September, they'll sue the WBA.
Because well, WBC you mean? Because he's mandatory, isn't he?
Ha.
Yeah.
WBA. I fuck a lot of them. Fuck boxing. Boxing's fucking shit.
Yeah. Does this mean you care about the sport again, Brian?
154 belt?
I'm not sure. Sorry, Alex. Go on.
Does Canelo still hold the 154 belt?
No.
No. He ditched it ages ago.
Who's got the WBC 154 then?
Floyd.
No. Hasn't he? Hasn't it been vacated now? I thought.
It's a tournament now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's champion emeritus, isn't he, Floyd?
He's just champion.
Champion. Defending the 154 belt at a weight limit of 147. Remember that? What a hero.
Just imagine if Can beat Canelo. But I definitely don't think it's happening. But imagine he just did. How fucking brutal will the discussions be with Brook now? Mind that 80-20.
Yeah, Khan would genuinely. Khan's mental. He would say like, "I want 90-10 or something."
Thing is, though, do you not think that maybe Kell Brook sat there wondering, I should have taken the 20, or maybe I should have offered 25.
See, this is what I don't get.
I argued at
20.
the time, Paul, that it should have been 70-30, and that was a fair split.
Yeah, because if you look at it, I mean, I tweeted earlier, I said, Amir Khan has walked into a fight with arguably the biggest pay-per-view star in the world at the moment, take away Manny and Floyd, and Brook's fighting Busy at the Sheffield Arena. It's almost as if, it's like this thing, is it better to have 25% of a massive pie or 100% of a tiny pie? It's... I just think that Brook may live I think that, bear in mind as well, when Canelo knocks Khan out, if that happens, if it does, the Khan-Brook fight inevitably, as much as people will say, it won't affect him, it will make it smaller because Khan will have lost again, he'll have been knocked out again, and I think it will make the negotiations even harder.
There's no way he'll take the Brook fight immediately coming off a knockout loss, is there? So it will delay it again, and that's another year when Brook gets bigger for the weight and maybe is struggling even more to make 147 or whatever it is. Or maybe Khan will say, actually, now I want the fight up at 154, which will mean that Brook doesn't have a belt anymore. And you're right, it complicates it massively.
Surely Brook will end up going down in weight once the syphilis kicks in.
Speaking of going down in weight, actually, it reminds me, here's a quick one off the top of your head, Alex. Who's the only one to have fought both Brook and Canelo?
Easy.
Magic Matthew Hatton.
Magic Matthew. Canelo likes his Brits, doesn't he? Is this his third? Hatton, Rhodes.
Yeah, I think there might have been another one early on. I could be wrong.
Kevin Mitchell.
No, Mitchell did him in sparring. Absolutely dropped him, and didn't go near him afterwards.
And then he had an argument with his bud, wasn't he mentally and physically ready for the fight, and then get stopped.
Yeah. He forgot his umbrella and it was raining on the way to the arena. It completely threw him off. His head was all over the place. He had a Nando's, didn't have enough ketchup.
Even the darkest days when I've contemplated suicide, I just think of Kevin Mitchell and life just seems fucking worth it. You fucking baldy cunt. Fucking loser.
When life seems bad, you think of a millionaire and think, at least my life's better than his.
He's not a fucking millionaire.
He's probably close to it.
That fucker sniffed all sorts. I mind he slagged me on Twitter because I mentioned something about how much money I'd blew in Ibiza, and he's like, "That's fuck all, man." I was like, "I'll check you because you done 200 grand in coke, you fucking fanny." He thought so. Basically, he was bragging to me that he'd spent more money in drugs. Aye, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Just in case I end up getting sued, I've got the fuck all for you to take anyway, you fucking baldy-headed cunt. Ricky Burns fucking smashed you. Ram it.
Brian's you can hear the passion coming back. For a man who's done with boxing, as soon as you mention a lightweight, the passion comes back and his love for Ricky. Did you see Ricky's hoodie, Brian, from the weekend?
It was fucking sweet.
He had a lovely Armani Exchange hoodie on.
Aye. And Kev Mitchell looked like his old man.
Yeah, Mitchell looked 20 years older than him, didn't he? Crazy.
Well, it'd be good. If Can beats Canelo, then because Upton Waiting fights James DeGale, or Badu Jack, just because Upton says, fuck that, I'm fighting TMT, fighting Badu Jack, beats Badu Jack and fights fucking Kovalev. Says, fuck it, he's gone all the way, just wiping out fucking boxing.
Who's doing this?
Can.
Oh, I thought you were about Ricky Burns again. Then.
That ends up being, what, a 12-weight world champion?
Ricky Burns is a lover now. He's no longer a fighter. He doesn't want to cause fucking havoc between the divisions. He would fuck people up.
He doesn't want to ruin any more families, yeah.
I'll tell you one thing, see if Ricky Burns went to 140, win a belt, because that division's fucking howling.
Well, he went to 140 and he got his arse handed to him.
He didn't get his ass handed to me. Fucking beat Figueroa. Every cunt knows it. Everybody knows it.
He could have been thrown out, mate. He had 2 points taken off. I had him being disqualified.
It wasn't even like welterweight. It was fucking welterweight, the fight. I can't even wait.
Right. So, unless anyone wants to keep talking about Ricky Burns, I thought we could just talk about the other sort of news from the last few days. So, if anyone's got anything to say about the card in April, fielding against Rebras, we get Rebras back, that thrilling knockout puncher. No? Right.
Do you think it's a bit annoying that Liverpool's, the undercard, is much, much better than Quigframpton? Are we being really...
Oh, sorry.
Are boxing fans being really fussy about the Quigframpton shite undercard? Does it really matter or not? I don't know.
Who's fill me in. Who's confirmed for it now?
So, for Quigframpton?
Yeah.
So, Jose Burton, Shinquin. He's chief. That's chief support, I think.
I've been asking for that fight for years, mate. I'm delighted.
Is that the co-main?
Yes, Brian.
Yeah, no.
You have absolute fucking fanny pads paying for that shit.
The thing is, though, isn't it? Shinquin's with Warren, isn't he? So it's one of the very rare Frank Warren matchroom joint things.
You got Skeeton Egerton now as well.
Skeeton Egerton, yeah. That's
it's good. I think that's not necessarily a bad thing. We're starting to see those kind of fights. I think where else we've got? So Ryan Burnett's on there.
Have you got an opponent yet, or?
Yes, they announced his opponent today. So Ryan Burnett, I'm just getting up the thing now. Talk amongst yourselves.
Time for some daft
right. So yeah, Ryan Burnett's fighting Anthony Satul for the vacant WBC International belt.
Oh, Satul was the one he fought Santa Cruz. No. He fought Donaire, didn't he, a couple of years ago? He's a friend. I remember this guy. I think he fought Nonito Donaire like 18 months ago.
I can have a look. Then you've got.
I'm sure that's right.
And you've got Isaac Lowe versus Marco McCulloch. Is chief again? Well, it's not chief support, I don't think, but it's on the card for the vacant Commonwealth featherweight title. And then Charlie Edwards, Josh Taylor, and Fitzgerald. Charlie Edwards is in against Luke Wilton, but the others are all TBA. At the moment, there's only 6 fights listed on the undercard. But yeah, Jose Burton Shinquin for the British light heavyweight looks at the moment to be, well, it's 14-0 versus 12-0, so I think they'll have that as chief support. They're not. Do you know why as well? I think it's because Matchroom don't care about the undercard because it's a co-promotion. I think they're almost not bothered. Whereas you look at, like I said, and I know you're all taking the piss about me for April. I don't necessarily think they'll all be in great fights, but the names they'll stick on that undercard. You're looking already at potentially De Gale, Selby, McDonald, a combination of. Whereas for Quigframpton, whereas for Quigframpton, they may end up actually being reasonable fights. Burton against Shinquin, but that's going to be the lead into a pay-per-view. And also, I think because this pay-per-view, even though it's sold out really well, it is a pay-per-view for proper sort of boxing fans. I think if they want to try and attract all the little fanny pad casuals that they always do, they could do with slinging on some more recognisable names. But the fight is 3 weeks away, 4 weeks away. It's just not going to happen.
Chuck Bellew on against some plank, shouldn't they? Or like a name against some no-hoper. But honestly, even Satul against Burnett, that's a decent fight. He did fight. He fought Donaire about 18 months ago. He's not great, but that's a decent step up for Burnett. He's only just starting out, really.
But I mean, like I said, you look at that Liverpool show. Like I said, Rocky Fielding versus Rebras. I mean, it's not the best fight in the world, but it's better than anything that's on this show straight away. And that's just a regular Sky show. So yeah, I don't know. But like I said, April without doubt will be stacked. And like I said, it's the priority. That's what I'm on about more than anything else. The priority of Matchroom and their sort of pay-per-view agenda for this. I think they're leaving Quigframpton as the main event. That's what everyone's paying to watch. But for a lot of us that are going, we're all sort of talking about getting to the arena at 9 o'clock. Whereas normally it'd be getting in earlier and watching the undercard. No one seems to be that bothered. I think it'll be a lot of latecomers to the fight.
Yeah, it's just going to be. I mean, I don't want to generalise, but it will be pissed up Irish people who don't give a shit as long as Frampton wins. It could be over in 30 seconds, and they'd be happy to have spent $1,000 on that.
Yeah, Satul, by the way, he did fight Nonito Donaire in Macau, and he lasted an entire 4 minutes. So we'll see how we get something against Ryan Burnett, the new
I
Donaire.
remember him because I'm sure he was rumoured to have been fighting Santa Cruz at one stage as well, and I don't think that happened. But I can remember his name getting brought up. But so yeah, talking about Quigg Frampton, and I know Brian, you're not going now, are you? But Sam, you're going, aren't you?
I'm going, yeah.
You're going, and I think Andy's logged off now, but he's going. And
Andy's going, yeah. Carl's going.
How are you guys feeling about the main event? Because I think we were saying earlier in the chat, weren't we, that it's. I'm not going, but I'm pretty underwhelmed by it. I find I care less and less now. It feels a bit overcooked.
Well, I think it's a fight that needs to happen just to find out who's the best in Britain. Obviously, then
You're breaking up a bit, mate.
Can you hear me or not?
Yeah, you come back now. Yeah.
Well, we know it's a fight for second place, and I'm not disputing that fact, but it's a fight that needs to happen for British boxing at least.
Do you think it will be a great action fight? Is it fight of the year potential? Because I don't think it has really. I think Frampton will probably.
It's a fucking mismatch.
I think Frampton will box into quite a wide decision. That's my.
It's going to basically look like Frampton, Kiko Martinez too.
I agree, Brian.
It'll literally be a case of if Scott Quigg can't catch Frampton and hurt him, then Frampton will just walk it. But I suppose the idea is if for people who for sort of a neutral, which I fit right in that sort of camp, I don't really care who wins the fight. I think it's going to require Quigg to land and hurt Frampton or drop Frampton early. Otherwise, you could just see it being very, very one-sided. I just think from a boxing skill point of view, I don't think Quigg can live with Frampton, but from a power point of view, he certainly has more of that. And if he can land a Tesco Joe left hook, you never know.
But does he have more power?
I think so. I think he's bigger. I think he's bigger at the weight. I think he does have decent single shot power. And he can finish guys, but like I said, a lot of the times where he's gone the distance, it's not been because he hasn't been able to hurt the opponent. It's just that I don't think he's often had the skill to break certain opponents down, especially defensive types. Now, I'm not saying that Frampton will fight defensively, but he can fight with his back to the ropes and box. And I think that Quigg will struggle with that. I still haven't decided. I mean, the logic in me says Frampton, unanimous decision, but I think that in terms of the excitement for the main event, I think it's just because it's all gone very quiet. With a boxing promotion, when it sells out straight away, they don't really bother with it until the couple of weeks up to it. Once we get all the bullshit Sky shows and the face-to-face and the nose-to-nose and the fucking bum-cheek-to-bum cheek, then we'll start to be a bit more, start to look forward to it a little bit more. You get that sort of behind-the-scenes access. But it's okay, but you're right. It's a battle. At the end of the day, it's the battle for silver medal. I think that the politics behind what happened with Quigg and his belt and Rigo losing his belt to make this fight happen is pretty sick. It's one of the
very sour taste, hasn't it?
It has. It's one of the worst. I mean, we'll all criticise the WBA, but I think it was one of their most blatant, horrible moves they did. And do you know what? They didn't want Rigo as champion. That's their prerogative. But to do it in that way, and then for Quigg to parade himself, and they'll market this fight as a genuine unification when it's a guy who got his world title in the post or via an email against a genuine champion in Frampton, but both men have made zero attempt to fight the actual champion at their weight, and that's why for some the fight is far less meaningful. But I think in terms of the actual night, you're going to have, I reckon the crowd will be more than 50% Irish. The amount of Irish fans who have got Scott Quigg tickets for a start, there's going to be a huge influx of people over. I think the McCulloch fight on the undercard, again, you've got English versus Irish. I think it's, as for a show, I think it could be quite decent, but it is what it is. It's not a fight of the year contender in terms of the clash of styles, and it's not big enough to be a real sort of event of the year either.
I was going to say, because I've sort of I agree with basically everything you said there, and although I've not sort of invested as much emotionally in this, I'm fairly neutral. I don't dislike Quigg. I don't particularly love Frampton. No Irish connection at all. But I found there's kind of a weird duality going on where I get less and less excited about Quigg and Frampton, and I get slightly more excited about Pacquiao Bradley. And I'm now coming round to that fight a bit more and actually thinking do you know what? In an era when we see these ridiculous mismatches, this is two of the best 5 welterweights in the world fighting each other, so you can't really complain about it too much. So I'm finding that I'm actually, initially I hated Pacquiao Bradley, and obviously was delighted about Quigg Frampton, and now I'm kind of swaying a little bit, and I'm not as arsed about it. I don't know, Alex, what are your thoughts, mate? I know you sadly couldn't get a ticket. You do love to go to every show, usually.
I just caught that there.
He's normally in the front row every house shows, trade shows, all sorts.
Alex is actually Jake Wood.
Only the cunts in the fucking DM chat know what he looks like.
No one knows what he looks like, or we all know what he looks like.
I look like that knobhead off of Time Machine. Yeah. For this fight, I'm still looking forward to the actual fight because it's been such a dearth at the start of this year, and coming off of last year as well was a bit miserable, wasn't it? I say that with the most miserable voice going at the moment, but no, I am looking forward to this fight still. I still think that if you try to ignore the ridiculous politics behind Rigo, the ridiculous politics, the negotiations and the stupid ego and bitterness between McGuigan's and fucking that wanker Hearn, and I still think ultimately it's going to be a really good fight, and it's going to really, just from a pure, just as a fan of boxing, watching and wanting good fights, I still think that it should deliver something like that, and to bang on about sort of casual things like atmosphere and all that nonsense, there will be a half decent atmosphere, and the fallout of it on social media is just going to be fucking hilarious to watch, and I'm always up for a bit of chaos and a bit of farce, so bring it on. I'm still looking forward to it. Maybe not as much as, I don't know, some people, or maybe not as much as it warrants, but no, it's going to be a good fight, I think.
What's your ideal situation? Because like you, I find half the fun with these big fights is watching the meltdown from the fans on the side, and it would be absolutely brilliant if Frampton just got chinned in like 2 rounds. That would be, the Irish would go absolutely ballistic.
Yeah, I think
it would be fantastic. But equally, if Gallagher's house of cards comes crumbling down, all the Smith bum snips they'll be raging as well. So it's kind of win-win, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that the biggest meltdown would probably be if Frampton does get Sparkoed, because I do think that he's got a lot more vocal fans and a lot more a bigger support. I think that
he's got fans.
Well, he's got actual fans, yeah. So, the Quigg fans are mostly just Eddie Hearn bum sniffs and Joe Gallagher.
Fucking Scott Quigg.
Yeah, I mean, it's just people supporting Quigg because they want to lick Eddie Hearn's.
There are a few Gallagher fanboys though now I've seen emerging.
Yeah.
All of Gallagher's fighters, so it would be funny to see them, take a beat.
Yeah, I mean, I like Frampton. I've always, I've been a fan of his, and I've liked Quigg in the past as well before he became embroiled in the stupid politics and calling himself a champion when he's not, and just being a total fanny pad. But I enjoy watching his fights. But I would love to see Frampton absolutely spark him. I would like to see Eddie Hearn look like a fucking cunt, and I would like to see Joe Gallagher get hit by a bus. So, War Frampton.
I think we can all agree the worst possible result would be like some sort of bullshit draw where they're going to have a second fight, and Rigo's never going to get a shot with either guy.
Well, he's not going to get a shot with either guy anyway, because whoever wins is going to move up straight away.
You reckon?
I don't think so. No.
I'm not convinced about that at all. I think Frampton would be tiny at 126. Absolutely tiny. I'm not convinced he'd go up.
I think they will. Either one of them.
Quigg might.
Or they'll find some way of ducking him anyway. They're not going to fight him, are they?
Well, according to WBA, who do genuinely seem to want to clamp down on all their different belt holders and have been ordering a lot of unifications, they have said, we don't want a super champion, and a regular champion, will unify once one's been chosen.
Well, you've done the WBA and keep the IBF then, don't you?
What I think is going to happen is if Quigg wins, he'll take the unification against Donaire, so he doesn't need to fight Rigo. If Cal wins, he goes up and fights Santa Cruz.
You think Frampton goes up to 126? Really?
The Santa Cruz isn't any fucking beast. Most people were picking Frampton to beat Santa Cruz at 122, so there's not really much of a difference.
Yeah, I just think Frampton would look. He'd be
but
massively outsized by a lot.
He was going to be outsized with Leo Santa Cruz anyway at 122.
Maybe. I just think it's a bit of a risky. It's a risky place to go and move to. I just think he'd be tiny up at that weight, like Rigo would as well. I don't want to see Rigo up at 126 either. I think he's way too small. As Charles Farrell said on our award-winning pod last time, Brian, that you sadly, just for everyone's information, Charles actually requested that Brian wasn't on the panel. It was Brian begged for hours, but wasn't allowed on. That's the final word on that.
It just shows you how big I've become. The obscure people from America know who I am.
He actually mentioned your IFL video numerous times.
Yeah.
He's got his article now as well. He's got his IFL video and his Steve Welling's article.
That was
ain't no stopping us now.
Got a lot more stick for that. That was.
It's a fucking beautiful article. It just told the world the pain I'm in.
I bet you read it as well, didn't you?
Of course, like that. I'm an egomaniac.
You read it.
He's probably printed it out and stuck it on the wall.
Please, people, you are just fucking jealous.
So, has anyone else got anything else to say about Pacquiao, Bradley, Quigg, Frampton, any of the fights coming up? Because or any of the stuff that happened at the weekend. I know it seems a while ago now. It's pretty relevant. But
we should talk about Kell Brook, because Kell Brook's always funny to talk about.
Let's have a Brook session.
What do we think Brook's going to do next?
Well, Alex, on that subject, sorry, I've just seen the quotes from Hearn, where Hearn has said at the end, he said, like we mentioned earlier, that he got the news at the weekend about Canelo versus Khan, and has said that I think Canelo will be much too big, blah, 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 blah. Disappointed we couldn't deliver Khan Brook for the British public, but you can't force another man to fight. We were close, but now, after Bizier, Kell must fight one of the other champions. That's what he said. And that means, presumably that means going to America, because I can't see one of them coming over.
Where does he say that?
That's on British champion Sam Eggington.
Where did you see that?
I've got that on, sorry, Brian, I'll find the source for you.
Is it a tweet so I can save it so I can cast this up later on again? Because me and Andy Pops fucking casted up the one. Fucking Kell Brook's going to happen. Hashtag log it. Hashtag wanker.
World Boxing News. It has got quotes from Hearn on, and Bad Letuk's got it on as well. And yeah, Hearn has said we must fight a champion next. So who's Kell going to go for?
Well, I watched his IFL interview, Hearns, today, and he said that they've already spoke to Top Rank about getting the Pacquiao Bradley winner. But they're never going to get Pacquiao, are they? But they could get Bradley, or they could go over for Bradley.
Well, they'll have to go over for it. Bradley will take that fight, no problem. But they'll have to go over.
Yeah, but Bradley said before, that he only wants the big money fights now, and is Brook in America a big money fight for him? Probably not.
It's an HBO headliner, isn't it? So I think that's big. That's big enough. Bradley's, he knows he's not paper. Full stop.
Bradley gets his retainer anyway, doesn't
he? Yeah. I mean, an HBO pay-per-view event. Sorry, an HBO headlining event. World Championship Boxing. That's fine. Brook would headline HBO. He's like they've mentioned him a few times. They know him. I'd love to see the Thurman. I still think Thurman would be the most interesting fight in terms of styles. I think that would probably end it in a knockout one way or the other. I think Bradley and Brook would go to points. It's a tough one to call. It'd be a very close fight, but I do like that this is all blown up in Eddie's face after years of telling us that Brook had all the leverage and Khan could run but he couldn't hide. Well, he's done both, mate. So you look like a twat now.
I mean, look, even that message there had a fucking hint of snidiness about it. You can't make somebody fight. What are you talking about, you big fucking slimy bastard? He's fighting Canelo, who is a fake
who's offering him a lot more money. Yeah.
It's maybe not so much the money. I honestly don't think Khan is in for the money. He's wanting this fucking glory fight.
He's in it for the money. He's cashing himself out, mate. 100%.
He's not going to get more money fighting fucking Canelo as he would have fought for Brook. There is absolutely no fucking way.
I think he'd get very similar money.
Similar money, but so Hearn's maybe offering him what? Maybe he's going to get like maybe about 6-7 million pounds. So you're talking he's going to need to make over $10 million against Canelo. I chance he's making that money. He was never making that money against Floyd, and he certainly wasn't making it against Pacquiao. He'd have been lucky if he get paid what $4 or $5 million for these fights.
Yeah, I think he'll get about 5 million for Canelo. That would be my guess. Something like
But that's not that. But he would have got that in fucking pounds for the Brook. I honestly think it's like this legacy fight. He just wants a big fucking fight, try and win. If he doesn't win, gets knocked out, he retires. If he wins, then he'll be on that Skype fucking flashing his dick till he dies, I suppose. But
he'll go back to Skype.
I mean, like, Hearn needs to get some fucking abuse for this. Absolute fucking abuse. That's another big fight that he's not been able to make. It's took him forever.
I think
It took him forever to make the Frampton fight.
I think you've got a point here because I think observers of UK boxing, they fall into sort of one or two camps when it comes to this stuff. Some of them will say, half of them will say, look, it's not Eddie's fault. He did everything he could. These other guys just didn't want to fight. You know, Frampton just didn't want it for 2 years or whatever. Golovkin didn't want Eubank. We tried to make it X, Y, and Z. You know, Khan didn't want Brook. We tried everything. Or is it a case of actually no? It's not about the other guy didn't want it. It's about Hearn. Hearn should have got it done at any cost, basically, and he failed to do that. I don't know which side you guys come down on.
I mean, look, he keeps going on about this Wembley fight. He needs to fucking drop that. Not every fight's a Wembley fight. Like, I mean, look, stadium fights are fucking one-off. Why are you so obsessed? I know it's because of the money and because you're a greedy Tory bastard, but you need to fucking drop that. Basically, what he's doing is he's leaving this fight, this Brook fight, to be made under his terms. It has to be June. It has to be at this certain point. It always has to be. Just fucking stick at the MEN or something like that. 20,000 is more than enough. Just do what you did, like, done for Frampton and that. Then just stick it in a 20,000 arena and fucking bump the prices up like you always do, you big prick.
The fact that it took Hearn 18 months to get to offering Frampton 55-45 says a lot, to be honest, because Frampton was quite clearly the A side throughout the negotiations and brought more fans, etc. And the fact that Hearn held out for 50-50 for years just shows you that he's quite clearly lets his ego get in the way of certain negotiations.
But continuously says he doesn't let emotions get in the way of business.
Yeah, which is... Well, I mean, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's just greedy with everyone. But it seems to me like he's very...
It does. Like, I can remember when he was trying to make the draw. Mine he was trying to make the Can fight originally, and like it was... I'm pretty... Like, him and Brook were posting pictures of fucking Can being knocked out, and I was like, you're meant to be a promoter. You're fucking... You're funny. And he was always giving George Grove shit, and I was like... And he takes no responsibility for it. It's just basically, I'm not. Mind that fucking sent a message into like that Q&A for Coogan Cassie, and I was like, you can't make any of these fights. You are the common denominator in this. You. And he's like, no, the common denominator is all three of them are greedy. And I was like, so you refuse to take any sort of fucking blame, and that's how like, Frank Warren's boy get a lot of credit when he challenged him over that pay-per-view thing, because Hearn had to eventually come out and backtrack, had to reword absolutely every fucking thing that he said, and then tried to twist it as if like he wasn't lying. We all knew you were lying. All you do is fucking lie. You even admit that you contradict yourself every day. You are a prick.
I think it's a shame Paul's dropped off the call, actually, because that was one of the things, Paul and I had quite a big back and forth about that, because he just took Hearn at his word about the whole any pay-per-view has to go through me. And the idea that the boss of Sky would have to call up Eddie and get permission in order to make a bid for Fury Klitschko was just such obvious bullshit. And the fact that people were believing this nonsense that as if Hearn was the one who could broker any deal. And it's like Hearn's essentially a contractor for Sky. Do you know what I mean? Like he's a third party. And the fact that people just lapped it up and were surprised when it turned out that Warren had a deal with Sky as well. And it's just like Hearn is not the boss of this. He's not in control.
I know Rupert Murdoch's only got so much a percentage in Sky. I can't remember how much it is, maybe about 20% or something like that. Do you know, this guy's one of the most fucking powerful men in the world. Let's not get any mistake. He is one of the most powerful men in the world because of the fucking influence he's got with the media. And you're trying to tell me that he's going to give all his fucking power over to a boxing promoter. Aye, his content's good with the likes of the darts and all that. Every fucking businessman is arrogant and they're always power crazy. No cunt's going to give them that sort of fucking power where they dictate how they get on there. See this? It was good that Fury done it as well. You had nothing to do with the changed venue, nothing. And they kept saying, you've no sort of proof. They brought documents out to prove it. He's like, oh, but Brooks still get paid the same money. I was like, why didn't you just say that in the first place? Why do you always have to twist it? Why you always... He's really arrogant. He just always has to see... He's the sort of guy that always has to have the last word.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. He always needs to comment on every story and he always needs to get his word in. And I think other promoters are much... Aram, when he doesn't want to talk, won't say anything. Warren goes through large spells of not saying anything, but Hearn is always putting little messages out, and eventually he gets caught. He gets caught out by it and gets caught contradicting himself. Sorry, Sam, do you want to jump in?
Well, Hearn thinks he's like one of the boys, doesn't he, with some of his people he promotes. Like with Froch and that, they're not like, it's not a business relationship. They're like bosom buddies, and they're like best pals. So he got in the way of the Groves fight. He made that difficult to make, just because of his friendship with Carl, and he was being a dick about it. Same with Quigg to an extent. He's been a dick about it.
For his mates, isn't it? And you're like, it's not your mates, they're your clients. You should be professional and neutral here.
Yeah. You work for them, not the other way around. They don't work for you.
Yeah. I always remember. I always remember after the second Froch fight, he was tweeting at Groves, you've been cobra'd, sunshine, and all this stuff. And you'll think, and then 6 months later he was saying, oh, I want Groves versus Callum Smith, and you just think, or I want Groves versus De Gale, and it's like, why would Groves do you a favour now? You just spent like all summer taking the piss out of him publicly, and now you want him to turn around and do you a favour. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, like Ryan said, when he was posting pictures of Khan getting knocked out and stuff. Like, Warren's a dick, but Warren wouldn't do anything like that because he's a businessman, isn't he? He's not just
keep it behind closed doors. Yeah. And Aram will say some crazy stuff about Floyd, and he'll criticise De La Hoya and stuff. But Aram has been around like long enough to know that, you don't. Aram's not posting pictures of Oscar in fishnets on his, on the fucking top ranked Twitter feed, is he? And, like taking the piss out of, because he knows that down the road they'll probably need to work together. And you just think Hearn, it's like he can't help himself to try and sort of score points with other people. And it's really not at that level of negotiations. It's not about scoring points. You have to just sort of get on with it.
They do everything in the open as well, which is it's good for some fans. Well, it's good for us because we kind of know what's going on and we see all the bullshit that goes along with it. But with some negotiations, just keep it in the background and surprise us when it comes off. Like no fucker needed to know about them offering Carl $1.5 million on TV. That was ridiculous.
Thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But like when we do get massive fights made and no one has a fucking clue, like Can and Canelo, everyone's buzzing for a bit, isn't they? So just keep it quiet, do it in the background like it used to be done. Don't be speaking to Coogan every other day, telling him it's getting closer, it's getting closer, it's getting closer. Then it's not happening at all. It just makes him look like a dick.
Yeah, it wouldn't be as bad as if he'd done these interviews and he was basically kind of repeating roughly what he was saying, but every interview he's like changing it and he's contradicting himself and he's forgetting sometimes the lies that he's come out with in some of the interviews, and then he's spouting shite again. I mean, how many times has Can just fucking set him straight with stuff like this? Let's see that 80-20. That 80-20 must have been just bullshit, Can taking the piss, because there is no danger that this Canelo fight has just basically suddenly sprung upon Can yesterday or like Saturday. Do you want the Canelo fight? Aye, not a problem. I want 5 million. Aye, not a problem, Can. Here's the 5 million. This has been going on for a while, so I think he's just basically took the cunt. He's just took the cunt out of here and that, and just basically just led them along, because Hearn's been a bit of a gobshite and all. I don't think Can wants anything to do with him.
And do you remember after the Brooke Gavin fight, I think there was that big press conference where Hearn was just calling out Khan repeatedly. Didn't mention Gavin, didn't mention Brooks' like performance or the rest of the card. He was just basically going on about how Khan was ducking, and it just came across as like really sort of point scoring and sort of childish. And you think he should be trying to charm Khan and trying to show Khan that by working together they can all make a lot of money, rather than sort of this power play of trying to bully Khan into it. It's just
But
it's really like teenager, like juvenile. Yeah.
But that's how I've always said, though. That he comes across as a really nice guy. Maybe he is, because he does a lot of he does really a lot of nice fucking things for people, I suppose. But his history with boarding school, we've seen the fucking stories. He does seem as if he's a bit an egomaniac. He's a guy that's always had his own way, and when people challenge his authority, he can't handle that. You see that sometimes. See when like likes of Frampton that challenged his authority, he would bite back, start coming out with hunters of fucking shite, getting personal.
Yeah.
So I'm out of the mood. I mean, I know people turn around and saying, "Oh, that's a big, massive British fight that we're not going to get out here." I couldn't really give a fuck where a fight is. I wouldn't have been going to it anyway. I don't really give a fucking shit. I don't care. But what I wanted was, see if Can look what happened. That money would have not get redistributed into boxing. He would not have used that money to get better fighters over here. He put on better cards. He would have pocketed the money. Sky would have got some of the profit. Hearn would have made a big profit. The two boxers would have made a big profit. No cunt would have seen any of this money. He wouldn't have fucking says, you know what, Frampton, no, sorry, Quigg, see if you beat Frampton, we're going to pay for Donier to come over here. That is what this money's for. That's what he told us the fraudulent Groves money was for, and he's never fucking used it. The cards he's put on are abysmal. The start of the year, he's not even put a card on. That wasn't a Hearn card at the weekend. It was a fucking Southern's George Groves headliner with a couple of his fucking bums on the undercard. He's not got a card until what, the end of February, end of this month, and it's a fucking pay-per-view. Has he got any other shite on to then?
Do you think all the money that he made profit off the Joshua White fight, do you think that's going to be invested into Joshua's next opponent? Is it?
No.
Is it fucked?
It's being invested in up his fucking nose. Anyway, we've got Doc Asif on now. Anyway.
Good call, Doc. See you later.
Hello.
As if, are you here, mate?
He's
Can you hear
watching
me?
Klitschko stuff.
We can hear you. We can see your Klitschko documentary on the telly.
Yeah, no, I'm not watching that. That just happened to be on. It's just a coincidence.
Of course.
It's running 24/7 in your house.
Yeah, but anyway, I said no heavyweight boxing today, so I'm going to talk about Amir Khan, Canelo. Good fight, man. Although I've got a feeling it's going to end up in a bad way for Amir Khan. I'm going to give him a lot of respect. He's fighting a guy who's going to probably come in the ring at, I don't know, 179, 180. I'm not sure what weight he comes in the ring.
170 comes in at usually. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, I've got a feeling it could go similar to what happened with James Kirkland. James Kirkland went in for it and he got sparked out. So, I mean, obviously you have to give Khan the respect. He wants to fight the best guy, then he's fighting the best guys.
I think it will. You've seen the Josecito fight, mate? From a few. I think that's what it will look like. Khan's better than Josecito, but I think that's what it will look like.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a TKO. It'll go. The referee will stop it with the Khan hobbling on his feet.
Yeah. I think we'll be shocked when we see the two of them sort of squaring up.
Man, I saw a picture today. Somebody put up a picture on Twitter. Khan and Canelo like side by side as mates. And Khan's actually quite a few inches taller than Canelo.
Yeah, he might be, but it's like if you look at how thick they are, like their chest and their around their like torso. Canelo's and his biceps, like he's so much bigger than Khan, honestly.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I've not examined them that closely. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's good fight. I think a lot of people will look forward to this fight. You know, it is a big fight in boxing, which is good for boxing. And like I said, it's hopefully it'll be a good build-up. It's good to see a British fighter in a big fight this year. I know probably last year is probably the biggest fight for a British fighter was the Tyson Fury fight. And this year we got Khan against Canelo. So it's always good to see a British fight in a big like boxing fight. Not just a big domestic fight, as Eddie Hearn would like, but I'm talking about a big world boxing fight. So that's good.
Undisputed, championship level fight. Yeah.
And then I'm not sure if people know, but I think it's pretty much tied up Gennady Golovkin's next opponent. Have you guys come across that? Yeah, Dominic Wade.
Yeah, Dominic Wade.
Is that confirmed?
Yeah, Dan was tweeting about it.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I don't mind it, and this is my reason why I don't mind it. Obviously, Golovkin has to stay busy and not just wait for Canelo in September. He's fighting. He's getting his IBF mandatory out of the way. Johnson was mandatory, but he went down with an injury. So Wade it's an undefeated Al Haymon fighter. He'll probably get sparked out, but if I'm honest, I'd rather he fight somebody like Wade rather than fight a recycled opponent like Andy Lee or that Hassan and Dom guy. Let's not fight it's better to fight a new guy than the usual suspects.
Okay. I just think it could be another. But I've got it on I've got it on quite good authority that Golovkin's going to be fighting Hopkins next. I don't know if you guys heard. Dan, did you hear that rumor? I've got it on.
Yeah, I heard that. It's for someone who covers the sport of boxing.
Who's got contacts? Yeah.
Cameron Gillen.
Name and shame, Cameron.
Big shout out to my boy Cam. I'm still fucking renting you. Fuck these haters.
Yeah, so GGG's are fighting Ward or Hopkins. So, what division swing?
Sorry?
Hopkins is 2. Yeah. Will they be meeting at a catch weight of 170 or will they be coming down to 160?
But genuinely, I think
168, I reckon.
Down, didn't he? I think he said he was interested in after the Kovalev fight. Hopkins said he'd be looking to drop down for his final fight. I don't know if he means to 160 or 168. I don't think he could make 160 anymore. Be amazed if he could. But 168, I guess, would make sense. I'm sure Golovkin would go up that fight, but it's whether that would mean he'd get stripped of one of his belts and would lose his place in the queue for Canelo. I think that's the problem.
This is exactly why I'm fucking done with boxing, man. Like, you've got a fucking champion who's over here. I'm pretty sure. I'm just going through the tweets here. I'm pretty fucking sure that he tweeted why can't you just get behind like the fucking your hometown fighter? Like he's a British guy going over to fucking fight. Oh, how about you fucking take the fight with Golovkin then, you fucking Sani? Why don't you take the fucking fight and give us the fight that everybody wants? Would everybody not want the Golovkin Billy Joe Saunders fight? I mean, Dominic Wade's fucking shit. Golovkin's going to fucking crucify him. No one wants to see that. I don't give a fuck if it's if it's a mandatory or no. No fucking wants to see that fight. Dominic Wade is a fucking bum.
Alright then, what do you want to see, Ryan? What do you want to see?
I want to see fucking Saunders and Golovkin. That's what I want to see.
Aye. Said no.
What about Lara Golovkin? I wouldn't mind that.
I wouldn't mind that, but Lara's a fucking shite bag, I know.
For 6 rounds, he's not.
I want to see Klitschko spark off Fury. It's not happening, is it?
Well, they're fighting again. You never know. Fury could take a dive.
I wish, man. You know what? I don't say the guy's name, man. Don't say his name.
But speaking of heavyweights, though, Asif, we were actually going to talk about this anyway. But we were sort of running some guesses on who Joshua's next opponent's going to be. And
Who's that? Who's AJ?
Yesterday, I think it was that Chisora versus Pulev has been confirmed.
That's a good fight.
That is a good fight for Pulev. I don't think it's very good for Chisora at all. I think it's quite badly beaten up.
I disagree because look, Pulev easily hittable, and he's probably got a shattered jaw now. He's not going to be very durable anymore, in my opinion, since his Vladimir defeat. So he'll get in his face. Chisora will get in his face, and I think
Chisora's completely shot.
Based on what?
Based on the last 2 years of his fights.
Well, based on the fact that he lost against the world number 1, there's no shame in that. And he
wasn't number 1 at the time. He was Fury was a bit flabby in that fight and had been very. Fury been inactive for like a year before that fight. And
he was, but Fury learned to fight. That everyone knows. Look, every big heavyweight knows the best way to fight if you're big is just stay back and make it a very boring fight. Keep your distance, and you get the victory. But I want Pulev to win. Okay, I want Pulev to win, but I think it'll be a lot closer than people think it will be.
Oh, fucking behave, man. You say it's fucking Jake Cornish and Joshua was a 50-50. Pulev's going to fucking ragdoll Chisora.
I was going to say...
Chisora's fucking done.
Alright, okay. I can bet... You know what, Brian? I'm happy to bet you that fight goes 12 rounds.
12 rounds.
Yeah,
That's,
I bet you Pulev does not stop Derek Chisora.
that's not a bad bet.
Given that Pulev's probably only stopped 10 guys in his life. What do you say, Brian? Go on, you all talk. Let's do it.
Right, what's the bet then? If I win, you're getting me a box of Oxycontin then?
Why not?
Some
No,
Valium. Give
forget
him some
that.
Valium.
How about £200?
Fuck off, doctor. I'm a postman, you fucking glue bag.
That's half a week's work for
But
you,
you
isn't
know a
it?
lot more. But you know a lot more than boxing than me.
I
Brian,
fucking know I do.
Brian is shitting it live on air.
Brian's
You know
been called
that
out by the
you're
doc
shook,
and he
you're
can't
shook,
hack it.
man. Be careful what you wish for, Brian. You're shook. You know what I mean? I called you out. I called your name out, and you bottled it. Just remember that.
I've
That's
said,
it.
are you going to get me a box of Oxycontin if I win?
I will do it if you win. It's a big if.
Have some sort of forfeit as the bet.
He has to post his dick. A picture of his dick on Twitter.
It's your solution to everything, Brian.
You know what, Brian? Just for you, I will do that.
Okay, and
Anyway.
Brian, who are you going to send your picture to if as if is right? You have to send it. You have to DM it to someone.
No, not DM it, because that's easy, innit? You've got to post it on Twitter to Eddie Hearn.
No bother. There's no skin off my fucking nose.
He's done that before. That's not.
I suppose. All right.
But anyway, yeah. So sorry, what were we gonna say about the heavyweight scene, guys?
I was gonna say, sorry, mate. I was just gonna ask you. So seeing as Chisora's off the table, who do we think? What do we think of Joshua's next opponent? Because I think that's going to be announced.
There's a lot of talking there. I mean, Eddie Hearn's been talking a lot as usual, but they've mentioned. I've got a feeling they're gonna fight an IFL IBF eliminator in June, maybe against Carlos Takam. That's what they're looking at because everybody's after Charles Martin now.
In June.
Well, that will be the eliminator, I reckon.
But is April is booked for Joshua's?
Yeah, but in April, his options are. I know he's mentioned Steve Hearn, he's mentioned Brian Jennings. I'm not sure Brian Jennings will come back so soon after the 2 defeats now. They've mentioned Steve Hearn. It's difficult because a lot of the big names are tied up or waiting mandatories, so it's a difficult one really. I'm not even convinced Eddie Hearn's got somebody yet. So it's whoever he fights, I hope it's supposed to be a good fight. We'll see, man. I have no idea who's going to fight. I have no idea.
It's quite a funny one, isn't it? Because Takam is it's quite a risky eliminator.
Hold on. I've got a small
man.
man come through.
He's not Takam, man. Takam's too small. He gets sparked out.
No, but Takam's a decent. He knows how to fight. He could
knows how to fight, but
I don't think he's a walkover. I don't think he's a walkover. I think he's a much harder fight than Chisora is at this stage in Chisora's career.
Yeah, well, that was the fact because the plan was what they wanted. They wanted Anthony Joshua to get the European title. So
yeah, but apparently Hearn said he's given that up now because he wants to go for the eliminator. Or he wants to. Sorry, he wants to.
He has to now. He has to because Derek Chisora didn't want the fight. So it's actually that messed up his big plan. Eddie Hearn wanted to get Derek Chisora, but he said no. So that messed up Eddie Hearn's plans.
Yeah, it's funny that. I think that would be a good payday. It would be a good payday against Joshua. It's strange that he would have turned it down.
He must have fucking lowballed him. He must have lowballed him.
Yeah, he must have offered him fuck all. Yeah.
Yeah, look, Derek Chisora is not going to want any less than Dylan White did, and that's the bottom line.
Yeah, but Dillian White got almost nothing.
Well, I don't know how much he got, to be honest. I know, but what else is happening? Oh gosh, I forgot. Yeah, Ortiz is fighting some flipping Dimitrenko, who's come back from the flipping.
Yeah, that's a horrible, dangerous fight. That'll be a really.
Dimitrenko, yeah, the guy. Yeah. He sees he's gonna get. He
could get really badly hurt. I agree.
Charles Martin now. They're looking at 3 opponents. Ariola, the fat bastard who deserves no. Ariola is the heavyweight version of Martin Murray. Gets his 3 flipping title shots.
Yeah, that's unfair to Martin Murray. That is.
And
Ariola wouldn't last a day in the MGM, mate.
But they're looking at April. Charles Martin is looking to defend in April against his man is mentioned Ariola Shpilka, who's just got sparked out, and Dominic Brazil, the guy who got a technical
Brazil
ability.
would make sense as a fight.
Yeah, it makes
sense.
sense. It's an easy fight, but it makes sense.
Yeah, and then what? So it's not going to be Wilder then? It's not going to be a unification.
Well, somebody put up on Twitter that Povetkin's coach thinks that Wilder's going to drop the WBC belt because he's going to refuse to come to Russia and he's going to go to fight Martin for the IBF belt.
That wouldn't surprise me. We predicted exactly that would happen. We predicted before the fights in January that Martin would win, Wilder would win, and then Wilder would drop the WBC. Wouldn't
It
surprise me
is
at all.
interesting, but what I find interesting is because obviously everyone's calling out Charles Martin's name, especially Eddie Hearn. Now, if he gets the belt, will Eddie Hearn put Joshua in with Povetkin for the vacant WBC title?
No, not this year. I wouldn't have thought.
Well, then he's all talk. Then Eddie Hearn, he's all talk if he says
Well,
we'll be after the title.
I don't know if you guys saw this interview, didn't you, where Hearn was talking about he believes Joshua will beat them all now, but it's not about fights where Joshua would probably win. It's not about 70-30, 60-40 fights. It's about fights when I know Joshua's going to win. So he's saying, I want these Wilder, Fury, etc., etc. I want them in a year's time, 18 months time.
He basically wants the easiest way to the title. That's all he wants, the easiest path.
Yeah, and then to sit on it and fight nobodies. Yeah. Anyone else got any thoughts on heavyweights?
Why the fuck are we talking about heavyweights?
Just because it was in the news, Brian, today about the Pulev-Chisora. I thought that was an interesting fight.
Yeah,
Look, man,
I never brought you up, Brian, by the way. I never brought you up.
Basically, fucking Hearn's lowballed Chisora. It's going to be a pay-per-view fight, and Hearn's probably offered Chisora fucking shit money. And Chisora's like, well, why am I going to do you a fucking favour? Maybe he's confident of beating Pulev anyway. See if he beats Pulev and wins that European, he's fucking a ball head away from a mandatory to somebody. Because European gets you good rankings. So why is he going to do Hearn and Joshua a favour by getting his shit pushed in for shitty money? I bet if Hearn offered him decent money, would have took the fight.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
On another note.
Well, I was going to say, on another note, does that mean that they're going to be looking for an opponent for Roman Gonzalez then, for April? Because he's not really got anybody, had he, really?
Segura, I heard, isn't it?
Who?
Segura.
Segura. The match is Segura. They mentioned some other current super flyweight champion, something Kono, whatever you call it. I don't know the name.
No, Kono is...
That's so racist.
Kono... Who's the one who's Kono? Alex, you mentioned this the other day. One of the British guys.
Cal Yafai is going for the WBA International Bollocks title against some fucking nobody, and that obviously puts him in line to fight Corey Kono. If that's the route Hearn wants to go. I heard a rumor of Gonzalez looking at fighting Kono at 115, but.
Yeah,
he seemed to back up a bit from the Segura fight because it got such a bad reaction. That's
a shit fight.
It's a horrible fight.
Why doesn't he fight Kevin Mitchell?
Hold on. Amir Khan's just tweeted something.
Kevin Mitchell's a bum?
Yeah, Kevin Mitchell's a bum. Incredible response. Thank you, everyone. Couldn't have done it without my team and Al Heyman. So Heyman was involved.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you, Heyman.
Sorry guys, because what about the light heavyweight scene? I know Kovalev. That's probably. I'm not sure if that's been discussed.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second. We've got another caller on at the moment. Shep,
fucking heavyweight boxing, man. Fuck boxing.
We're not doing heavyweights now, Brian. We're going down.
Who have we got here?
Light heavyweight. We've got the light heavyweight, Brian.
Eat my ass.
Hello.
Shep, you're the host. Address the new caller.
I don't know who's on, mate. I don't know
who's fucking on.
It's Aaron, for fuck's sake. All you need to do is look at his name and it tells you. Aaron.
Right.
How you doing?
All right, Aaron, how's it going?
I'm grand, man. Yourself?
Aaron's basically on fucking... See Adam Abramovich's Facebook page. That's how I know him. And it's better than our DM chats because it's more mature.
Saturday Night Boxing.
Right. It's quite good.
Just a bunch of lads hanging out on a Saturday night.
Always, every night.
Are you Irish?
What do you want to talk about, mate?
I'm just going to join in the conversation. There's too much Chisora love going on. I wanted to chime in and kind of put that down because it was annoying.
What, praise Chisora?
Yeah, it was far too much for me. It was far too much.
What do you think about, I don't know, let's go on to the light heavyweights. I don't know if you saw Kovalev Pascal.
Yeah.
If you had any thoughts on it, I know we won't discuss it too much because it's obviously been and gone now. But pretty brutal.
Yeah, Kovalev is a fucking sadist of the highest order, and that's a good thing. A very good thing.
Oh, he's a nasty bastard, man. I fucking love him.
It's fantastic. Like, Pascal was kind of bringing it on himself, and I'm kind of glad it happened.
Yeah, you had to. I really don't know what Pascal's game plan was going in to just try and make him as angry as possible. It just seemed to completely backfire.
That's a very good idea against a guy who's as fucking mental as Kovalev.
Yeah, exactly. He's not going to be phased by it, is he?
No, it's like you see all these people trying to do it, but they just don't exactly understand the type of mentality that they're dealing with. Like, that might work against some fanny, but against someone who actually has no qualms about killing a man in the ring, it's a good idea.
Yeah, who's killed a guy and it hasn't affected him at all.
Yeah, and continues to rabbit punch the fuck out of people.
Yeah.
You could picture Kovalev just basically being like in Mississippi burning, isn't he? Yeah, is that a horrible type of bastard? Fucking putting crosses on somebody's gear and setting it alight.
Or just like fucking American History X or whatever.
Aye, fight a
Curb
curb.
stomping that guy.
You're playing into the Pascal narrative now. You're saying that Kovalev's a white power racist.
Well, because he is.
I'm not
to his
gonna-
face,
I think it's a cultural thing. I think he's probably quite insensitive, but it's a cultural issue rather than.
Oh, right, aye.
There's not really any denying that he's a racist at this stage, but it really comes down to, like, would you rather be a fan of the racist or the pimp? And,
It just depends what sort of fucking birds he was shagging. If they were tidy, then nah.
No, he wasn't. I've actually read about this. He wasn't. He was like more of a sort of muscle for a pimp. He was the sort of guy who stood outside the door while stuff was going on and beat people up if they didn't pay.
Shit,
What, so
you're
like
notorious
Anthony
for
Joshua,
Sorry, Sam. Go on.
like Anthony Joshua was in Watford's underground drug scene, yeah? He wasn't there. He was just the
Sorry,
enforcer.
AJ. Tyson Fury is a scumbag gypsy. Anthony Joshua is the poster boy of a generation, mate. I will not have a bad word said about him.
Oh,
Just
I
because he
apologise.
sold drugs sometimes and beat up some grannies, right? Tyson Fury needs to be eradicated from the boxing scene. He's a stain on boxing. We need people like Anthony Joshua, violent thugs.
everyone sells a bit of drugs and beats up the occasional granny.
Aye. And smash the granny out of some people occasionally.
Guys, I've got a question for you. This was asked on the Asylum, actually, and I sort of was surprised by the answers. Who would you like to see, any fight in the sport, who would you like to see Kovalev fight next? You can
Ward.
fight any. Because I'd rather see, okay, you say Ward, I'd rather see Stevenson.
I'd
No,
Stevenson.
No, all right.
Stevenson.
Paul Smith.
yes. You know what? Okay.
Kevin Mitchell, aye.
If Paul Smith fought Kovalev and the pay-per-view was 50 quid, would you pay for it?
I would buy it twice.
I honestly think I'd buy it as well, yeah.
What? By what?
Paul Smith versus Kovalev on pay-per-view.
What the
You would, Brian. You'd lie.
I wouldn't pay for it because I wouldn't want to give that fat fucker any money.
Well, he'd be dead anyway, so
Winner takes all.
You wouldn't be able to enjoy the money. Exactly.
it might buy him a nicer coffin, but that's about it.
They need a big one, the fucking tubby cunt.
Or they could put on a decent spread and his honour, couldn't they?
See the way he's going to end up having to get one of these fucking tractors to lift him out the bedroom. Now he need to fucking take the full wind in that off. Big fucking cabbage. I hate Paul Smith, man.
It'll be like Gilbert Grape. They just have to burn the house down and get him out of the bedroom. Yeah.
It'll be like Game of Thrones and he'll just walk out a burning building because shite doesn't burn.
So what are we saying, guys? You saying Stevenson first, and then Ward?
No, I'm going Ward because I think Ward's a more competitive fight than Stevenson is now.
Yeah, I think Kovalev just
But don't
fucking
you-
smashes him to bits.
But don't
Yeah.
you want to see him finally, unify all the belts and all this sort of stuff? No.
I think
Well,
that
because
because of
I'm
the thing.
I want to see Stevenson because still the bottom line is, as much as we don't want to know it, Stevenson is the lineal champion. So I want to see Kovalev get that.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's important for him to unify in that way.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
The way that I kind of see it is a lot of people are really starting to overlook Stevenson's chances at all in that fight because the disdain that everyone has for him and the love that people have for Kovalev due to his psychopathic nature. But at the end of the day, Kovalev does have some issues with his balance, which puts him in line to get, and he doesn't react too well when he gets hit with punches. He can get backed up. And Stevenson's left hand.
Yeah, but Stevenson doesn't react very well either, mate. That's the thing. He's been put down plenty of times.
Oh, of course, yeah, no doubt. Like, it's not a fight that would go the fucking distance. But I think that Ward's not going to go in there and be able... Like, Ward can outbox him, and that would be fantastic, and that's a brilliant fight that I can't wait to see. But Stevenson is probably the only guy in the division, apart from people who aren't quite on that level yet, such as Bitabiev. Steven is one of those guys who could knock him out and does have the potential to land that shot when Kovalev gets off balance.
No, Stevenson's a one-trick pony, and Kovalev will figure that one trick out quite quickly.
But it's like a 3-round shootout, though. I would rather see that because I would rather see one guy hold all the belts and there's no dispute over who's the top guy, and then Ward can fucking take the fight if he wants to fight. But at the same time, Stevenson's got the power to knock out MD, and I honestly,
I agree.
Kovalev proved at the weekend there that he can take a punch because he took an absolute fucking arsewinder flush to the jaw. It didn't even shake him. But like Andy for the Asylum said, he looks as if he's a bit softer in the fucking midriff and that. And I honestly think like Stevenson's got the punches. He's got the power to trouble him a bit. I would still fancy Kovalev to win, but it's not as easy as like a fight as everybody thinks. Like, just because they're down on like Stevenson and he's a scummy bastard. But if Stevenson fucking connects with that, he's one hand daft, isn't he? But if he connects with that one fucking hand, Kovalev could be in bother.
This is single shots in the sport, isn't it? That right hand.
Yeah, but
left hand. Sorry.
This is that stupid argument again, though. It's all if he connects, then he wins. But we've had this argument so many times about just big punches, or if they can land that one punch.
Mm.
Yeah, if, but they might not. Fucking Randall Bailey, if he landed on Devon Alexander, would have cleaned him out, but he didn't.
It's not like Steven only has one way to land it though. Like he sets it up in quite a few different ways. He can land it as a counter, and when he's leading, he's quite intelligent with the way that he finds that, and it gets overlooked a lot because he's.
I agree. I think that Stevenson's smarter than I think some people are giving him credit for. I just think Kovalev's a far superior boxer and a far.
I'd agree. I
agree with that, but I do think Aaron's got a point that Stevenson is being a bit underrated at the moment. I agree with both points actually. I think, but I don't think we're overrating Kovalev. I think he's proven that.
No doubt, Kovalev is that good.
Who's of the opinion Ward beats him then?
No, this is the thing. I'm more down on Ward than I'm on Stevenson. I honestly see when I watch Kovalev, he seems to get better with every single fight, and I just think.
Yeah, I agree, Brian.
When I watch Ward, and I think Ward's a fucking great fighter, man. I can watch the Throch fight every day of the week, right? Because that was probably his best performance. He fucking bullied Throch for about 9 rounds in that fight. I just watched
with one hand.
Exactly, and I just watched like Kovalev, and I just like there isn't anything that Ward can do that's going to trouble this person. Like, see, what is the point of boxing Kovalev? That's exactly what Kovalev would want, because Kovalev can outbox MD. It's going to have to get up close, right? And I don't think Kovalev would allow him to be as dirty as he was. He's not going to be able to bully him either.
No, but it's whether Kovalev could cope with it, isn't it? Has he been in with a guy who is... We've seen that Ward, son of goat against Kessler, he's quite happy to jump in with his head if it's going to disrupt the other guy.
This is it. Kovalev's the type of guy that will just fucking punch him in the dick.
Well, maybe, but in that type of a fight, if the fight breaks down and becomes dirty, I think that favours Ward.
Yeah, see, there's actually something that quite a lot of people overlook. I think it was in the fight with Cedric Agnew. Obviously, Agnew got the piss beaten out of him, but he was landing low blows and a few headbutts, and I think he cut Kovalev's eye open, if I'm not mistaken. And Kovalev didn't react too well to the sight of his own blood, I noticed in that fight.
I think Ward...
I'm not sure how he'd handle it if it got really, really fucking dirty.
And it would, at one point, it would get dirty. Yeah. The head would be going in, the elbows, he'd be blindsided him.
And I think Ward presents very unique problems in that sense that you wouldn't necessarily find against anyone else. Sorry, Sam, go on.
Well, Ward's got loads of nuances to his game, eh? Like, he's dirty, he'll come in with elbows, he'll come in with his head, he'll do dirty stuff on the blind side.
Yeah, absolutely. And if a referee's going to favour him and let him get away with it could put Kovalev off and disrupt him a lot.
I think that it's a fight that I'm going to kind of withhold judgment until I see Ward in the ring again against Barrera.
No, it'll be a good fight, though. Let's be honest, if that fight happens, everyone's going to look forward to it, and it's going to be a really, really good fight, no matter what.
Well, I
Well,
mean,
you
a
pick
high
it.
level fight. I don't think it'll be a good fight to look at.
No, but it's a fight everybody wants to watch, and when it happens, everyone's gonna be, fingers crossed, happy it's been made.
Yeah, it's two guys who are both arguably top 5 pound for pound, isn't it? Really.
Well, that was an argument I think we discussed a while ago. I mean, would
It's the
winner
best
of
fighting the best.
Yeah, would the winner of that be pound for pound number 1?
Not
Yeah.
no.
I think if Ward wins that, he's pound for pound number 1 again. I think.
I'm not going to get too involved in the pound for pound for
I'm
discussion.
not.
I can get really heated with them because I just enjoy the lists. But I think that the winner of that fight would be the clear number 2 behind Roman Gonzalez. I just don't think that that's enough to put someone above Gonzalez at the moment. I
Okay,
think probably
here's a question, Aaron, because I know pound for pound things are a bit dull when you're going into who's number 15 and who's number 17. Obviously,
I ran a top 30 list for a while.
yeah, exactly. It gets a bit specific, but who's got the best current win in the sport? Do you think?
Best current win out of everyone.
With any fight.
Tyson Fury,
going
man.
back how long?
Tyson Fury, to be honest.
No, that's what I mean, Alex. It's up to you, mate. It could be because I think it's still Rigo over Donaire because Donaire's still around. I think it's still the best win.
Absolutely.
Well, it's going to be like that. It's just Floyd over Pacquiao.
Or Floyd over. No, but
It has to be that if you're going to say best win, because Pacquiao, an all-time great, and Floyd,
Go on.
easily.
Go on.
I'm not saying schooled because he didn't, but he won comfortably.
or what about Floyd versus Canelo? I mean, Canelo's doing pretty well at the moment. That win looks better and better, doesn't it?
But Floyd is technically retired.
Yeah, he's retired
Well,
now.
yeah,
So.
okay then. If we're saying that Floyd's out of the picture, then
Yeah, we got to look at it.
I would say either Fury over Vlad or Donaire over Riga. Donaire over Riga over Donaire.
I'd
I'd
probably
say
say.
they're probably 2 of the top options, yeah.
Who-
Or
probably say-
you-
actually, Pacquiao over Barrera, Pacquiao over Morales.
No. I mean current though, mate, because like contemporary sort of matchups. Last
Like
All right, okay, sure.
past 3 or 4 years. What?
Yeah, I definitely agree with those 2 options then.
fighters where the guy you beat is still around, basically. Because I'm trying to. Sorry, the second part of the question is that if the winner of Kovalev versus Ward, in my opinion, would have the best win since Rigo Donaire, and I think having a win that good is gets you right up there on any rankings.
It does, but the
know what I mean?
stability of work that Gonzalez has is what would give him the edge for me. Like, in my opinion, if Gonzalez gets a win over Estrada in a rematch and Inu and maybe 1 or 2 other good wins, that he's pushing on the door to be a top 100 all-time great right there.
Agree.
He pisses it. Yeah, if Gonzalez gets any of those wins this year, then he's
Number
number
one.
1 so
Yeah,
easily.
then he cements it. But equally, if someone beats Gonzalez, that is the best win in several years. In the
Oh,
sport.
absolutely,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
But
So-
that's the thing. But that's the thing about this pound for pound list. Look, let's assume, especially because ESPN and a lot of people, they have Gonzalez number 1. Now, if somebody comes and beats Gonzalez, that guy should be number 1. But they're not,
No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, that's not how it works now.
and that's stupid. And that's why I don't like this.
No, it doesn't. But it would be changing all the time if that was the case. You have to do it on a body of work.
That basically like kind of lineal way into it, or you beat the guy, so you're become the guy. No. I don't even have Roman Gonzalez. I
I've
don't
got
have
him
Gonzalez number 1. I don't.
Who's your number
beaten?
1?
No one.
I've told you this before. Like,
Floyd.
no, if I can't pick fucking
Oh, you
Floyd,
got Pacquiao, haven't you?
I've got Pacquiao.
Right.
I don't think fucking losing to Floyd should make you drop you. But some cunts have got him at fucking 9 and 10. I still think the Bradley win.
Top 5, but
The second Bradley win for Pacquiao is a fantastic win. Yeah, I
Huh?
agree with that. It's an unbelievably underrated win.
And it's nothing to do with, you're just trying to give Floyd a bit more credit. It's nothing to do with it. I just don't feel as if like
But
a loss to somebody that's fucking been that dominant for years should drop you that low.
Well, not that low, but it does drop you. I think
But that's
any
been-
loss does.
You lose clearly as well. Like he did lose.
I'm not disputing like Gonzalez is like he's like pound for pound, but when was his last? When was his last right good win?
What's Gonzalez's defining career win? Because I know he beat Estrada, but that was a close fight. Rigo destroyed Donaire. Like he won like 9 or 10 rounds.
Well, again, Gonzalez is the body of work, isn't it? He is the
you know,
argument. that
Gonzalez has got
everything you've
fantastic wins dating way back to Nida. His win over Valoria is fantastic. His win over...
I'm sorry, Valoria, a 35
shot.
Valoria or whatever, is not. That doesn't stand up to beating a prime Donaire. They're not.
Well, the Yagashi win's looking better every.
Yeah, the Yagashi win.
Yagashi's going on because he's made another comeback. Fucking.
I don't even know why I started this conversation because I've not even got a clue about any midgets. So I haven't fucking know. I'm running in the dark now.
Brian, it brings me back to a conversation I had, and maybe this is one for another pod in the future, where I remember arguing with a guy, and it was some casual talking about Tyson and where he ranked all time. And my argument was that he was trying to say Tyson should rank above Frazier. That was his argument, which is stupid for a start. But my argument was that the Frazier, the first win alone over Ali, is better than Tyson's entire career. It's literally that one win has more value.
I agree.
And then we got into an argument with everyone else about whether one win could eclipse an entire career and how much you could put on one win.
But Tyson didn't even have a good career.
Tyson only has one win as well, so it's really just comparing what's better, a win over Ali or a win over Klitschko, and that's kind of an obvious one.
Yeah, I mean, Fury's, pretty much. Yeah.
Like, who else are you going to look at? Fucking Chisora? And...
Oh no, I meant Tyson the original, but
Mike Tyson.
Was his best win fucking Spinks?
Yeah. This guy was saying that Tyson was devastating and all this nonsense. Prime Tyson was better than Frazier.
Who was that? Keo Kings?
No, Boxing Rob or someone like that. Some
boxing fuck.
Fuck that man. But yeah, and I basically came back and said, look, you can. Frazier had 60 pro fights. You can remove 59 of them, and he's still got a better resume than. Just leave him with the one fight, and he's still got a better resume than Tyson.
Frazier didn't have like 20 or 30 odd pro fights, didn't he?
Who, Frazier?
I'm pretty sure he didn't have 60 fights.
No,
I lost my round. One sec.
No, Frazier didn't have a lot of fights.
I think
pulled that out of my ass, but
I think those are two different comparisons. It's like comparing somebody's best win against somebody's career. They're two different things.
No. I think the point was, as if from the way I was trying to make it was that some wins are so good they transcend. Do you know what I mean? Like they're such.
Yeah.
I just basically think that Tyson's achievements is mainly to do because his age and the fact that he was basically the kingpin at 21-year-old. But it was short-lived. I would still say that Frazier's losses to Ali are better than anything that fucking Tyson done.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to give credit to Mike Tyson for the age of which he did it. I mean, that was phenomenal. You can't take that away from him. But again, it was a weak era that he did it in, and it wasn't the best opponents that he smashed apart, and he doesn't have any real signature wins. And I was going to make a point on this as well. You say that Frazier's win over Ali is better than Tyson's career. What about Leon Spinks' win?
Against him, no.
That's not a prime Ali. I don't think.
Not even close.
Like Frazier beat the best version of Ali, and he beat him over 15 rounds. Do you know what I mean?
Well, did he though? Because Ali, how long was he out of the fucking ring for?
Well,
I mean, you can really pick apart
best
things here. I'm only playing devil's advocate here. I'm not saying I necessarily believe this. I'm just saying you can really pick things apart.
Ali didn't fight for a while. Was running about shagging all sorts. Floyd done time in the fucking penitentiary and came out and beat fucking won world titles. That shows you how good that man was. He came out of jail.
Who was his first fight after jail? Was it Guerrero? I forget.
Yeah.
World beater there. Right.
That was a Pete Guerrero.
Oh, Pete Guerrero!
Pete Guerrero. I had to argue with some spastic the other day who was claiming that Guerrero was deservedly top 10 pound for pound once.
Guerrero's been shit for super featherweight.
The amount of people plenty of people picked Guerrero to beat Floyd. Honestly, it wasn't that outrageous at the time. I think people were very kind of sold on Floyd being, in the jail. He's going to be.
Of course, and obviously hindsight is 2020, but like he beat Selçuk Aydin in a fight that was actually quite close, and then fucking Andre Berto in a fight that was just.
Ricky Burns would beat Guerrero.
That is a fantastic note to end on, I think. Ricky Burns
would beat Guerrero. Log it. It's not an Eddie Hearn log it. It's an actual fucking factual one. Ricky Burns beats Guerrero.
When's that made, mate?
Make the fight, Heyman.
Murrayfield next summer.
No, my man's for Coat Bridge, so it'll be Albion Rovers Park.
Right. Okay. Has anyone else got anything they want to add I don't think we've really skipped any of the news. I mean,
Can I just say one thing before I
yeah,
go? To Brian, just on that bet. One thing I've noticed, Brian, you always wear them sunglasses when you come on the podcast, and I think you've got a lot of fear in them eyes, and that's why you want to look him in the eyes. Look at the camera and stare me down. Take
Because
off
his
them
pupils
glasses.
are.
Take off them sunglasses and stare me down about this bet.
You're basically fucking wearing the phone in your face, man. Look at the fucking close up. It's just a fucking forehead.
this would be
Take off the
great.
sunglasses, man.
Look at me,
There you
bitch.
go. Fear in them eyes. I see
You're
fear in
you're
them eyes.
looking at my tits. Look at me. Look at me.
Well, this would be great for the people who are listening on
Yeah.
their iPhones and
I'm
iPads.
the daddy.
Shout out to the podcast listeners.
Look, his shirt and dropped off.
As if it's dropped off. Right. Okay. Thanks very much, everyone who has been listening, and we'll have another show next week, I guess. Is there nothing on this weekend? Is there? No fights at all, really.
There's Box Nation card, I didn't know.
Is that that Irish one? I'm not watching that.
Maybe. I don't
It's unbelievable the fucking viewing figures this has got because they have come back.
That's it. Man. Nothing to do with the biggest fight in years being announced.
Biggest fight in years. My fucking tits. The
Biggest
biggest
fight for a Brit in years, I'd say. Oh no, I suppose Fury last year. Yeah. Biggest fight in 6 months.
Right, thanks for listening. Now, fuck off.
Yeah, thanks for having me.